My story is about a Mormon family who were part of the MKULTRA program started by Operation Paperclip and masterminded by our original handler, Mr. Greenhog. To us, he was Mr. Greenhog, but there is reasonable evidence to suggest that his real name was Joseph Mengele, who always liked to use names with the word green in them. My family were used as entertainers, child pilots in wars, medics, special messengers, high-priced call girls, presidential models, sports figures, and international spies. There were 13 children, and then my mother raised one more. This story is about generational incest, abuse, CIA kiddie porn distribution, and satanic ritual families that have no idea what they are involved in on a conscious level. It's about mind wipes, controlling those that have the most to offer. It's about how the priesthood, sacred societies, Freemasonry, and a satanic pedophilic agenda is widely used to control governments, religions, and local police to do their bidding. The darkness loves to hide behind the light, so it may shock you to hear about a Mormon bishop that tried to rape a friend of mine right after she got married. And this was the same high-up Mormon priesthood leader that later officiated in a satanic ritual where he almost got away with raping, killing, and offering my sisters up to an unknown god in the Salt Lake City temple. However, when it comes to killing a child, there is a line that is crossed, and even the worst perps know it. Today, I speak for all victims of a nameless, faceless perpetrator that still hides behind ruling elite families, secret societies, governments, and religions, all providing a cover for the most heinous crimes on the planet. And what doesn't feel right to me is that these crimes, for the most part, still await punishment, and only when appropriate punishments are allowed will both victims and perpetrators be allowed to heal. Dean said that telling the truth is the greatest human trauma because it has been punished over the centuries more than anything else. So everyone has this in their genetic memory and are triggered whenever they do it, which is why so many keep their experiences to themselves. I began telling my story in 1998 under the pseudonym Sue Ellen in a series called Phoenix Undead Part 1 and 2 by John Quinn, who published it. Since sharing it, I've lost a 20-year singing career, lots of money, my health, and my home in an illegal foreclosure just this last December that left us homeless. This is the face of willing slavery, because silence is our consent, and there is no reward for well-behaved slaves. Slavery is not upon us. It's been on us for quite some time. There are only two energies in this world. One is the drag on spirit life force energy, which encapsulates confusion, deception, manipulation, fear, and force. These are the powers of the dragon. And the other energy is love and light. To all victims everywhere, I want you to hear these words. This was not your fault. It's the fault of psychopaths that have long considered us slaves to be sexploited and experimented upon, and it must end now. My father is 86 now, and I don't know if he has crossed that line and killed a child or not. The point of killing children and spirit cooking is to get them to cross that line. Yes, they were all victims, but this is where, if they are aware of doing it, they always have a choice, because the powers that were have to get them in so deep that there's no way that they can get out. And until you understand dragon thinking, you won't understand. The dragon has its own philosophy, and that is whatever it takes to establish, maintain, and control. The dragon plan is to shatter trust, to create a system that can do this automatically and generationally, and to control those with the most to offer. Psychopaths love the light as long as they can control it, use it, abuse it, and own it. That's what pedophilia and child abuse is. Meanwhile, untreated pedophilia leads to wolves in sheep's clothing, and the sheer numbers of victims is staggering. And these people are only discovered after harm has been done. To survive in a nation of sheep, ruled by wolves, owned by pigs, you must become a lion. And to all lions everywhere, I say, it's time to roar. Because every child that is abused by a government is one child too many. Every child that is abused by a trusted parent is one child too many. And every child that is abused by an authority figure in a church is one child too many. The good news is that this all ends when people start telling their stories. Only then can we see that they're all the same story. We are the jailers and the liberators, and by jailing key people right away, we can liberate ourselves. So may this tribunal eventually lead to not only compassion for victims, but justice for the guilty, because we are the ones we have been waiting for.
The obvious question is, okay, you've been a senior CIA officer, and do you believe this? Yes, I believe this. However, let me clarify that 90% of the people in CIA are good people trapped in a bad system, and there are at least 7 CIAs, okay? So CIA is not a monolithic organization. Also, when we, against the orders of President Truman, when Allen Dulles brought in all the Nazi scientists and so forth, they went to 2 places. They went to CIA and they went to the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, which in our world we call it not a space agency. And as Kathy O'Brien has said so clearly, that's where the bulk of the mind control has been done. So just to mention the 7 CIAs as a partial and very brief answer to your question, there is the Wall Street CIA. CIA was actually founded by Wall Street to be its secret control element. And this is best told in a book by David Talbot, The Devil's Chessboard. Okay, and I have a summary review on it. Then there's the White House CIA, which does dirty tricks for whoever happens to be president. But the White House CIA seems to have merged into the blackmail CIA. CIA at the worst level appears to have joined now with the FBI, the NSA, and the Mossad. And so there's this aspect, and then there's the drone CIA, which has a 98% assassination rate. There's the Saudi-Israeli CIA, which does rendition and torture, and then there's the real sort of CIA, the old spies like me who do their best, not realizing that it's all a joke. And then finally, there's the bureaucratic CIA. I mean, I was threatened with assassination in a specific country, and 2 days later, the message comes in. I went underground in pseudonym in another hotel, abandoned my house, and a message comes in from a clerk at CIA saying, well, we're paying for your house. We can't pay for a hotel at the same time. And my chief of station sent back a one-line message saying, what part of assassination are you not understanding? Okay, so I've been there. And the bottom line for me is that the bulk of CIA is honest and worthless. And that 10% of CIA that does great evil needs to be rooted out. But I will absolutely assure you that the FBI, NASA, FEMA, DHS all have their own 10%. And so what we're doing here really is moving truth toward clearing all of this out. And Chief Justice, you can get me tonight over a glass of red wine and I'll tell you the rest of it.